So, good morning everybody. Today we're going to do a little bit of arm work, and for that purpose it's going to be helpful if we use weights. So I've got 1 kilogram weight, so something about that. It's not really about being really heavy, it's more when you use weights, it really helps you to connect with your core because you've got something to resist against. And that's why we're using them. So before we do that, let's just sit with the legs crossed. And we're just going to get ourselves into a nice straight position. So thinking about the sit bone, descending and letting our shoulders roll back and down. Just have a little think about what you're doing with your back waist, because there is sometimes a tendency to push the rib cage forward and hollow it in the lower back. Well, we don't want to do that. So we want to think about bringing the back of the waist back behind us. And that means that your lower abdomen draws in and slightly up towards your diaphragm. And that way you're actually activating from the core. So let's just try a few little warm-ups. So we're going to inhale, bring our shoulders right up to the ears, and exhale down. So as we breathe in, just imagine you're breathing in through the front of the throat. So inhale, lift, and exhale, exhaling out through the front of the throat, exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down, and we're going to now take that into a rotation. So shoulders back, forward, up. Might feel a wee bit of crinking going on in your shoulders as you do it, so you can kind of start to bring your body more into that rotation. Bring your arms into the rotation. Lovely, and now we'll go the other way. So up, forward, back, down, up, forward, back, down. And again, see if you can involve more of the upper back. You can move your arms. And we're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Great, lovely, and then release. Okay, so from there, let's take our fingertips out to the side, and we're just going to bring the right arm up, rotate, stretch the arm up to the ceiling, and then you can slide to the left a little bit. If that's working for you, you can bring the inner arm in line with the ear, and then pressing your left hand into the floor, way down your right leg, just stretch up. So as if you were aiming from the point where your ceiling meets your wall, and really send that hand away, breathing. In through the nose, out through the nose, and then just have a little rotation, look underneath your armpit, and then inhale, come up. So if you find when you do it that your elbow's bending, then maybe just don't go so far, or rather think of the arm as stretching rather than worrying about getting it over. So we want a straight elbow. So we're going to go to the other side, right arm down, left arm up, rotate, start to slide. So it could be that your arm is more there, but if you can, then start to bring the inner arm in line with the ear. And then weighing down on that left side, stretch through your arm. So you probably feel the stretch up through the left side of your body. Breathing. In through the nose and out through the nose. Lovely. And then inhale and come back to start. Lovely. Okay, so from there we're going to do a little few shrugs and opening. So let's start off with shrugging. So we're going to hug ourselves. See how far around you can get your hands, and then just curling. Let the chin tuck in. You feel a little stretch on your back. Keep the breathing going. Okay, and then we're going to unfurl, open the arms, and then just think about bringing your chest forward. Let your fingers go back. Breathing, 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 and then the other way. So we're crossing the arm underneath this time. Rounding spine. Let your chin drop. Unfurling, opening out to the side. Bring the chest forward. See if you can get the hands behind you. You might feel that stretch through the front of the arms. Lovely. And release. Okay, so from there we're going to take our weight. So if you've got a sofa behind you or a wall behind you, you can go to that in such a way that when you're sitting, and do give yourself a little bit of height to make yourself more comfortable, you can actually have your back to the wall if that's helpful to you. The other thing that you can do is go near the wall and then put a cushion behind you, and that helps you to keep your position. Let's change the cross of our legs as well. So we'll stretch out our legs, give them a little shiggle, and then cross the other way. Okay, so if you have got your lower back to a sofa or on a cushion against the wall, just to allow your back to really be on that cushion, moving back rather than pushing away. So it's like you're settling your sit bones down and relaxing in the lower back. It's very easy to get that pushing up without even realizing you're doing it. Okay, now we're going to take our weights. So if you're using a tin, you just hold it whichever way you can. Obviously, if you've got a weight that you can hold in your hand in, that's just be careful if you've got a tin that you don't knock it on your head. So let's just start off dropping with one weight. So we've got it in our left hand. Drop the shoulders down. Check that we've got our weight back to our pillow or back to the wall, so we're not pushing forward, we're not lifting up. We're descending our sit bones down, and we're lifting up from that descent. Shoulders moving away from the ears, and then as we exhale, let's just lift one arm up and then straighten, and then down, halfway, and then straighten, and then down, and again straighten. Okay, now there's a few things to think about with this. I mean, the point is, anyone can sort of do that, but that's not what we're doing, because what we're wanting to do is make sure that we're connecting with our core. And when we do it, if we do it properly, we're actually going to be feeling our pelvic floor connecting. So we're going to do that again. If we take the arm out, make sure we've got our back waist back, sit bones descending, shoulders down, crown of the head lifting. Take a breath in. Now, as you exhale, you should feel that you have to already start to grip in the pelvic basin in order to bring your pelvic floor up in towards your your lower spine, and then as you exhale, straighten. And then down. So as you bring it down, try and resist. So don't just bring it down, but it's like you're resisting bringing it down slowly. Let's try the other side. Take down, out. Shoulders down, nice and straight. Check your back waist is back. Your belly's drawing in and up. Exhale. Start to lift. Inhale down. That's it. Nice, Hazel. Yeah, exhale. Oh, aha, that's better, Ruth. Good. Exhale. Exhale. Lovely. And then down. So let's try with both together now. So we've got both weights. We're taking the back waist back. Start off, open the chest, shoulders rolling back and down. See if you can already think about sending your sit bones down, drawing your shoulders down, and that already means you start to activate from your pelvic floor. Exhale. And we're lifting, lovely. Inhale down. Breathing, exhale. Shoulders down. Inhale. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. If you can, you're going to stretch through, straighten through your elbows. And if your arms aren't straightening through the elbows, you can just make a Y shape, although to be fair, that is harder work. Keep the shoulders down. So as we go up, push your sit bones down into the floor as you lift your arms up. Exhale, push the sit bones down, scoop and hollow in your belly. Let's do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, send your sit bones down. Good, lovely. 4, and 5. Great, and then release. Very good. So you'll probably feel it more on your arms, and if we'd just done those exercises without the weights, you don't get such a bang for your buck, as it were. Okay, right, we're going to do a bit more later on, but I'll let you have a rest in your arms first. So let's now straighten out our right leg, and we're going to keep the left leg in its half bent leg, cross leg position, and then we're using our belt. So let's actually do a rotation. So we'll take our leg out to the side as far as it's happy to go, and we're lengthening up through the front of the body, and we're going to rotate now to our left. So take a breath in. So we're rotating to the bent leg. Exhale and rotate. Looking behind us. See how tall you can make yourself. Draw your belly in and up. Check that you're not over hollowing. So just let your back waist go back. So we're turning towards the knee that's bent. Breathing. Let's hold for 4 more breaths. Keep the height. Keep the back waist moving back so you're activating your core. Breathing. Lovely. And then release. Great. So let's try that to the other side now. Just stay propped up on something if that's helpful to you. So we're taking our belt on the left leg now and just getting our height. So we want to be really long from pubic bone to sternum, lifting, scooping that belly. Rotate now to the right. Breathing. So again, you're sending your sit bones down as you rotate. Lovely, and then back to centre. Okay, and then let's just cross our legs again. So if you can you can have them the same way as they are, because we're going to change it as well. And then we're going to rotate over our left knee, both hands on the floor. Let your right leg be heavy, and just see if there's any forward bend there. Some of you I know can get quite far down. And then to come up, long, lengthen the crown of the head, so your spine is lengthening as you come up. And we'll switch side. So that as you rotate, one side is going to be harder because of which leg's in front. And to come up, lengthening the crown of the head. And we'll swap the way, well, let's shake the legs out first. And then swap the way you had your legs. So we'll go to the second side first. So lifting, rotate. Lengthening through the crown of the head to come up with a long spine. And we're going to lift and rotate, go the other way. Allowing the opposite leg, opposite knee to stay weighted down towards the floor. And then to come up, lengthen through the crown of the head to come up nice and long. Great. Okay, so before we head down to the floor, we thought we'd just do a little squat while we're at it. So if you pop up on your cushion, both feet on the floor, and then just come forward so that you're off your cushion. You might need to be on your tiptoes. Take your hands inside. And then we bring our hands together and then push the elbows into the knees. And see if you can lengthen up through the sternum. And we're breathing. Now you can do this with, if you find that that's not really working for you, you can have a chair and just put your heels onto something high enough and just do something with the chair, and then you begin to get the flexibility because it's asking quite a lot of your feet, really, isn't it? Given that we're not used to this position, most of us. Two more breaths. Nice. And then release. Lovely. Okay, so from there we're going to go back, we're going to go down to the floor because I want to do more with our weights. So if you find something to have under your hips, so probably the best way to do this for some of you is to lie on the floor first, then push up with your feet and slide something under your hips. But before you do that, make sure you've got your weights nearby. So our shoulders tuck under, feet are hip distance, knees pointing up to the ceiling. And the back of the waist is not pushing away from the floor. You're not throwing it into the floor either, but you're not lifting up from the floor. Right, so let's have a weight in each hand. Really tuck your shoulders under so you're not shrugging. And then let's take our weights and bring them above our head. So we're, that's it, exactly. Okay, now turn your fingers. If you've got your hands around weights, just turn your fingers towards each other. If you're holding tins, you can rotate so your inner arms are facing. Drop your shoulders down. So let's first of all lift the weights up to the ceiling, so our shoulders come up, then drop the shoulders down, lift up to the ceiling, so your shoulders lift, and then drop them down, lift up, so your shoulders move up off the floor, and then drop them down. Good. Now staying in the drop down position, just with the right arm as we exhale, just take your right arm behind you so you're making a right angle. I better show you this one. Okay, and then bring it up, and as you bring it up, swap arms. So first of all, left arm down and then straighten. Once you're up to straight, bend your right arm, bring it up to straight, bend your left arm. So we're just alternating arms, keeping the head facing up to the ceiling. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Okay, so let's start with both arms in the air. Let's do both arms together. Bend the elbows, inhale up. Exhale, bend the elbows. So fingers, you're taking the blocks behind you, but keep your elbows parallel. Keep the same distance between the elbows. And see if you can get that feeling of drawing up the pelvic floor. So by taking the arms behind us and then straightening, we're actually then working the triceps. So we're bend, straighten, bend, straighten. So it's just the upper, you're just bending in the elbow. That's it. Keep going, one. Yeah, you don't need to drop your weights too much to the floor. It's that action of bending and straightening that kicks in the tricep. Straighten, bend, So keep going till you start to feel it. Let's do 5 more. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, and release. Lovely, good. The thing about using weights, apart from obviously loading your muscle more so you get more bang for your buck, but it also helps you to remember your position. So now we're going to take our weights up again. And this time, just bend your elbows so your elbows are going out to the side. Rotate your fingers so they're pointing to each other again, and then we're going to open the arms. 1 and close. Open and close. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Draw your belly in towards your spine. Open. Oh, sorry, open and close. So do that in a controlled way from the core. If you're moving too fast, I'm suspicious. Shoulders away from the ears. Lovely. Open and close. Yeah, take your elbows a bit higher, Hazel. So have your elbows moving up towards your shoulder height when you've got your arms over your head. Yeah, that's it. Scoop your belly. Right, let's do 5 more. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Lovely. And then just take your blocks and just pop them out of the way. Great. Fingertips on the floor, tuck our shoulders under. Let's take our palms on the floor. And then we're going to push through our feet and begin to lift off your cushion. Let your sternum come a bit towards your chest. Take the arms over the head. Breathing. So as you lift, you should feel that scoop in the belly. And then we're going to bring the weight to the left leg. Let your right leg come up if you can. Hold, hold, and change leg. And first leg again. And second leg. Lovely. Good, very nice. Lovely, Jacinta. And then both feet on the floor. Send your tailbone away. Come back onto your block. And we'll just bring the knees towards the chest. Now take your knees a little bit further away from your chest, and then we're just going to let the knees go to the left, and you can rotate to the right. Being a bit higher gives you the chance to get slightly more stretch. Keep your right shoulder down. Let the back waist go back. Lovely, and then coming back, get yourself settled back in the neutral position. Knees up again, and rotate the knees over to the other side. You can have your legs straight if you like the feeling of that. Keep the left shoulder down, so don't go so far that your left shoulder lifts. Keep it on the floor. And notice how you feel. You might notice one hip tighter than the other. So just don't go so far if you feel your body's complaining. Just give it time to warm up. You can hold your leg if that helps. Breathe and keep the back waist dropping back. And that puts your rib cage in the right relationship with the pelvic basin. Lovely. And then coming back, we're going to just slide away whatever was underneath us. And then just roll onto one side. So I'd like to do a little upside down, which for some of you might lead into a shoulder stand, but it doesn't have to. It can just be a supported upside down with the feet resting on the sofa or a chair. So you want to have something like a sofa or a chair, or indeed the wall. And if you've got a chair, you want to make sure it's not going to skite backwards if you put any weight on it. So we're also going to need something like a folded blanket, which we're going to put near to the chair. Now, just for to start off with, it usually involves a little bit of trying to work out where you need to put your blanket, but it's really worth taking the time to do that, because if you get your blanket in a useful place, it makes the pose really nice. So the other thing we need to do is get our belt, and again, you may not need this, and what we're going to do is make a loop with our belt. Now, how big do you know to make your loop? Well, the way to do it is if you take your belt behind your back and roll your shoulders back and down, and just make sure that you can have your belt around your elbow comfortably, but you've got something to resist against. So be mine a little later. So if you take your belt above your elbows, and when you're pushing, you've got something to resist against. And then you know you've got the right right distance. So you don't have to use the belt, but have it ready by your chair in case you want to use it. So to get up, a good way to do it is to sit on your blanket, come close to your chair, work your bottom in, and then swing round so you've got your feet on the chair. And what we want to do, so now I've got my blanket too close, so what we want to do is have the blanket positioned so that your shoulders are on the blanket and your head is on the mat. So just any thick rug that you've got, you can use. So your shoulders are higher than your head. And then we're going to bring our feet to the end of our chair and then just lift up, tucking our shoulders under. Whoops, I've got cramp, so that's terrific. So for some of you, even if you can do that, that is probably enough. And you can just enjoy getting that upside down feeling. It's very good for our bodies to change the way that gravity is bearing on our body. So that would be level 1. If you want to go up another level, this is where your belt's handy. You can put your belt thread it so that it's above your elbows. And then we need to catch with our hands to support our back. And if that's working for you, you can lift one leg. We can do one leg at a time and the other leg. Those of you that are staying down on your chair without using the belt, can just practice lifting one leg at a time. And that's great, you can stay with that. Those of you that are able can take both legs up. And you can have your legs at a kind of V shape. Make sure you've got enough height under your shoulders to support that. If you find that that's too tight on your neck, then just come back down, put your feet onto the chair again. Okay, now if you're up and you're quite happy, you can do a few variations. So we can keep our right leg where it let our right leg come forward, left leg go back. So we're making splits and change direction. Lovely. And then we can both legs together, keep your left leg where it is, bring your right leg towards the floor. And coming up, change legs, so right leg where it is, left leg down. If you've got your both feet on the chair or on your sofa, you can roll down, have a rest, and then you can try coming up again and just keeping one leg on your chair. Try bringing one leg up in the air, alternating. And then coming up, and then we can do the split sideways. Open the legs out to the side. Lovely. Bend the knees so that the soles of the feet are together. And then we can do a little rotation. So we're rolling to the left. And rolling to the right. And then back to center, knees together. Some of you can pop your knees on your forehead, if that's possible for you. Some of you can bring the toes on the floor. Halasana. And then rolling down, and bring your legs back on your chair. And then we want to get a cushion under the head so that our head is not any more lower than the shoulders. Excellent. Okay, so I can see that some of you had trouble with that, and it's all to do with the setup, because if you prepare it and give yourself enough of a lift under your shoulders, it makes all the difference. And if you've got a good sofa or something strong to support you at the right height, then that makes all the difference. But it's very good for you to go upside down. According to Mr. Iyengar, the shoulder stand is, if you did nothing else in yoga, only the shoulder stand and the variations, you would get all the benefit of yoga. So there we are. anyway, you get a chance to, you can always look at the video again once we get it on YouTube and see the stages if you had problems with it now, because it's really worth persevering. Okay, so from there, let's just take our right ankle in front of our left knee. Relaxing into that stretch. Relaxing the lower back. Lovely. So we're breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. So if you like to think about your navel and imagine that you had a marble in your navel, it's like you're rolling that marble towards your pubic bone. So rather than letting your pelvic roll this way, you're rolling the marble so your pelvic floor is dropping down. And then moving aside. So we've got our left ankle in front of our right knee. Think about the marble in the navel and we're rolling it down towards the pubic bone. But apart from that movement, just see how much else you can relax. So we're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Lovely, and then release. And then moving our chair out of the way and getting our cushions to the right hand. No, let's do it to the left first. We're going to bring our knees up and let our knees go over onto our cushions as we roll to the right. So we're taking the knees to the left, we're rolling the shoulder to the right. If you want to get a little bit more stretch, you can cross your legs. So in this case, the right leg over the left, going to the left. And then we're rotating to face the right hand. Look along the right hand. And again, check that we're not flaring the ribs, so let that back waist move back. Just really sinking into that nice feeling. Okay, and then we're going to move our blocks or cushions to the other side. Bringing our knees up, and then this time let the knees go over to the right. Again, if you want to feel a bit more stretch, you can cross the left leg over the right and take the knees to the right. Once you start to lift your shoulder off the floor, you know you've gone too far. So you want to be able to keep that left shoulder rolling down. You can look along the left arm and just notice where you feel it. You might feel it in the hips, some of you might feel it in the upper back. So find a stretch that you can soften into. You don't want to go so far that it's causing you to clench or tighten your muscles, because that's counterproductive. So once we find a nice stretch, check that we're not flaring the ribs, so let the back ribs move back, and that means that your rib cage settles down, so your ribs want to be pointing down towards your pelvic basin. And we're breathing, just let the breath into the body and enjoy that stretch. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Lovely, and then taking a nice breath, bring your knees back to center, and we'll just hug the knees to the chest. So we're going to come up into a sitting, so if you can't, you just cross one leg over the other, and then you can just roll up into sitting. But if that's not working for you, you can roll onto one side and come up. So to prepare for relaxation, we're going to get something to go under our knees. And bring the soles of the feet together. So ideally you want to, when your knees drop to the side, they're supported. So it could be that you need to prop up your knees a little bit more. And we always want to have a symmetrical, so when you let your knees drop, they're going to be supported. And then we're going to lie back down again, and you may want to have something under your head. So we're going to have the soles of the feet together, let the knees drop, so our feet are in Baddha Konasana, and just make sure that since we're at home we can get all the cushions that we need to get a lovely feeling of support in the knees as you open them to the side. Tuck the shoulders under. So moving the shoulders away from the ears, allowing the back of the ribs to descend. We can bring our hands to our belly to begin with. And noticing the rise and fall of the breath as we breathe in and out. So if you are warm enough, you can just stay like that, but if you want to, just add a blanket. And we're going to transfer into our relaxation. If you're comfortable like this, you can keep like that. You can let your feet go a little bit further away from you. So it's not so much a Baddha Konasana, it's more just letting your knees be slightly raised and supported, which is comfortable for the lower back when we do relaxation. So we're transferring into our relaxation position, checking that our head's supported if that feels good for us, tucking our shoulders away from the ears. And just letting all the weight of your body sink onto your mat with every exhalation. See if you can feel the backs of the shoulders becoming a little bit more heavily weighted down onto your mat with every exhalation. Lovely, and then just slowly when you're ready, we're going to bring our awareness to our body, lying on the mat, getting ready to move our fingers and toes, stretching our arms and legs, and then just have a good stretch. And then let's just roll onto one side. just taking a moment. You can see a very nice pair of feet. And then coming up when you're ready, just taking your time to come back into sitting position. So when we do shoulder stand, I know that some of you were struggling a bit there. The preparation is really all, because the reason why we find it difficult to get into shoulder stand is mainly because of our shoulders are a bit stiff, because in order to do shoulder stand you have to really rotate and bring your elbows in. But if we use a nice folded blanket, or sometimes you can even use a flat cushion and use a belt, then all these things help us. So I think the instructions were quite good on, I hope so, on the in this lesson. So, you know, I would suggest to you that you might like to watch again and see about the setup and see if you can work it out in your own sitting rooms or wherever you're working from. Find what you need and play around, experiment a little bit. Because when you do get up and you feel nice and supported and your head isn't, your neck's not being squashed, it's actually a really nice feeling. Believe me, I promise. Okay, let's finish together. We're a little bit early today. So we'll sit nice and straight, rolling our shoulders back and down. Let's think about our sit bones descending again. The back waist moving back, bringing our hands up. Just feel the connection with the thumbs against the sternum, connecting to the heart. See if you can feel the warmth going from your fingers into your body, through the sternum, into the heart area. Lovely, there we go, thank you. Hope you're not too traumatized by that.